Well, welcome to another Monday Night Express Escape. Tonight, we're going to do a presentation on one of Europe's finest countries, I believe. You can tell me what you think afterwards, but spend 30 minutes with me. Let's take a trip over to the Netherlands. I'll just start by saying that the Netherlands is a great destination, and I think often we say a place has something for everybody. I really think that the Netherlands has something for everybody, whether you want to do it as a single traveler, solo, independent traveler, maybe on a bus tour, maybe on a river cruise, maybe on a cycle tour. There are so many ways that you can explore the Netherlands, and there's so many cool things to see and do in the Netherlands. Hey, by the way, I'm going to acknowledge that I'm a little stuffy today. I've got a bit of a sinus headache, but I think it was because I smelled too many tulips thinking about the Netherlands presentation, and I got a little bit pollinated. So I'm going to do my best to, deliver to you today as audibly as possible, even though it sounds like I'm coming to you from inside of a wooden clog. All right, well, look, my name is Dave Wentworth, and I'm the owner and operator of Destination Whatever, a 100% Canadian travel agency dedicated to connecting Canadian clients, Canadian travelers with adventures that they can experience all over the world. And I am a travel agency owner and also a travel agent. So I do all the business owner stuff and I'm doing all the travel agent stuff. And some of the specialties that I have that you might want to call on me for expedition cruising. I love polar cruises, things that can take you to the far reaches of the planet. I love small group tours. We'll look at some of those today. That's a great option for people looking to join, say 12 to 16 people, whether you're a single traveler or you're traveling with somebody, and just having really cool, authentic experiences in countries all over the world. I love active trips. We'll be looking at that tonight. Of course, cycling for the Netherlands. And of course, cycling is one way, but maybe it's walking. Maybe it's a self-guided thing where it's set up for you, or maybe you're joining a small group adventure. Maybe you want to do it on an e-bike. I can help you with that. And a few things that I love. Let's talk about some passions. So, when I'm booking trips, I like to kind of hit a home run by finding something special, something extraordinary, the right fit. Travel is definitely something that we spend a lot of money on. And when we're spending that type of money, and not just the money, but our time, we're making this commitment to go to these places. We want to make sure we're getting the best out of that experience. So I like to help travelers find the connection to the right travel product for them, whether that's on the water, on a bus, whatever they need. I like to give travel information. I like to encourage people to learn more about this great planet. And I like to find those special touches. So thinking ahead to next month, we've got this eclipse happening, so some people are going to the Galapagos to see the eclipse or other places. So like if you're wanting to go someplace and I might see that there could be an eclipse or other special occurrences, I definitely want to point that out to you and just make sure your trip is popping. So you can come to me and with my background academically in international development studies, I'm here to connect you with culturally authentic trips, rich experiences, and again, travel education. In addition to these Zoom presentations and the recordings that I have on my website for different destinations, if you're a member of a group and you need a Zoom presentation, or if I can get to you in person, just reach out. If you have a lunch hour club, maybe a book club, whatever your group is, if you want a presentation about some travel opportunities that would be for your demographic, just reach out to me and I would love to get something like that set up. You can reach out through my website. Hey, speaking of my website, for travel questions tonight, I'm unable to facilitate any live questions. So as we go along, if you have any questions about the Netherlands or anything that I can help you out with, just reach out on my website. Just head on over to destinationwhatever.com and you can submit your travel questions to me and I'll get back to you during business hours with a personalized response. Pretty cool. And also, I'd like to let you know that on my website, you can make a request to Zoom. Everybody loves to Zoom, and it's so great because, again, I'm of service to Canadians coast to coast to coast. So it's a great way that we can connect. We'll find a time, we'll sit down and chat about what you're looking for. And those are complimentary 30-minute sessions. It's a great way for us to meet, make a connection, see if there's anything I can help you with, and have a conversation about what that might look like. All right, let's get on to tonight's presentation. Here we are. Where are the Netherlands? So the Netherlands I'm jumping around a little bit. Sorry, everybody. The Netherlands are a country located inside of the EU, inside of the Schengen region. So everything you see in that light green is the Schengen region. And I'll talk a little bit more in a second about what that means. And the darker green part that you can see there, that would be the Netherlands. It's a small country. It is surrounded by Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, and if we think about the latter two there, this region is known as the Benelux, and you'll hear me talk about that. And Benelux, if you think about the BE from Belgium and the NE from Netherlands and the Lux from Luxembourg, it's all three of those things pushed together to make a word that refers to those three countries. If we talk about the Benelux nations, or as we'll look in a few slides on the Benelux Rail Pass, that's what we're talking about here. And there's also a maritime border with the North Sea. The Netherlands shares a border with the North Sea. And as some of you may know, most of the Netherlands is below sea level. Most of this would be the North Sea, but it's been claimed back over years using methods of building dikes to reclaim land from the sea. So the Netherlands is just that. It is a low-lying, flat country. Many areas, as I was saying, are below sea level. And if we think about the word Netherlands, if you've studied German, maybe, which is close to Dutch as a language, you might be able to work out Nederlands. It means low countries. And so this has always been an area known for its lowness. The main city is Amsterdam. And then from Amsterdam, we can really just divide the country into geographically four zones, one for each direction. So we could talk about Western Netherlands, where we'll start tonight's travel. We'll be starting in Amsterdam. We could look at Northern Netherlands, Eastern Netherlands, Southern Netherlands. We'll make our way around all of that. And also, this region or this country can be broken down another way. There are 12 provinces in the Netherlands. Another little interesting quirk about the Netherlands is that if we look at the Kingdom of the Netherlands, it has several Caribbean municipalities. I guess special municipalities is what I've come up with. And those could be Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao. So if you've ever booked a cruise, gone down to the ABC Islands, or St. Martin, that airport that has the runway that you can get really close to the planes, those are all overseas parts of the Netherlands. So a few other interesting FAQs. Again, the capital city here is Amsterdam, and that's the most populous city. But the seat of government is actually located in The Hague. And you might have heard of The Hague before. It's a city known for international justice and trials and tribunals and all sorts of things of a legal nature happening there, global legal nature. And you might be wondering, something a lot of people wonder, is Holland and the Netherlands the same thing? If I refer to Holland and the Netherlands, am I saying the same thing or do I mean different things? So I'm going to explain this to you the best I can, and hopefully now you'll know what the difference is moving forward. So as I was saying, that the Netherlands is 12 provinces. It's a European country, so it's the entirety of everything. That is the Netherlands. And so it's the broader term, and often it's what I'll speak in. I'll refer to the Netherlands because I'm talking about the whole country. When we talk about Holland, we're talking about two provinces, North Holland, South Holland. Amsterdam is found in this area, as are other important cities and sites, and we'll see that tonight, that there's a lot in North and South Holland. So when we talk about Holland, we're talking about a region. We're talking about a part of a greater encompassing area, which is the Netherlands. So, Netherlands, all the lands. That's how I remember it, if I was your geography teacher. All right, let's talk about the people and the culture of this nation. So, population-wise, 17.5 million. And considering it's a relatively compact country, really, really, really high population density, even as far as European standards go. And the official population of Amsterdam, depending on how you measure the city, we could be looking at 850,000 people if we're looking at the more inner part of Amsterdam. If we get into the outer workings of Amsterdam, that population is going to go over 1 million. The official language is Dutch. Dutch is spoken, and Dutch has a lot of similarities to English and German. And often people I know that are German speakers or they've studied German, they find Dutch quite familiar. Often English speakers can just go to the Netherlands and find that Dutch language almost rings a bell. And many Dutch people speak English quite well, so communication is really easy breezy in the Netherlands. I put a few Dutch phrases there. So hello is just simply hallo, and thank you, dankjewel, excuse me, ik spreek again Netherlands, I don't speak Dutch. So if you are interested in language, there's a lot of similarities, as I was saying, English to German. Even if you look at the picture here, cheese, Käse, just almost like the German. Hey, let's talk about money and practicality. So the currency here, it's going to be euro. And so really easy to get euros, really easy to use bank machines when you're in this destination, really easy to pay with a credit card. So very modern, easy to do with spending in the Netherlands. Let's talk about your entry requirements. So presuming you're a Canadian passport holder, you do not need a visa for stays of up to 90 days. But again, the Netherlands is part of the larger Schengen area. And so Canadians can go into the Schengen area for 90 days. So if you're going to, a couple countries, you want to be thinking about 90 days in total. And yeah, so just keep that in mind. And it's 90 days in a 180-day duration. So like you could do two 90-day trips within the course of a year, let's say. You'll want to make sure as well that your passport has at least 6 months of validity beyond your expected return date as well. So if your passport is expiring soon, it might be time to get it before your trip to the Netherlands or the EU. In terms of electricity, it's going to be the same as elsewhere in Europe. You're looking at a 230-volt situation, 50 hertz, a Euro plug. So if you have a converter, if you're doing other European countries, you're good to go in the Netherlands. You'll be able to charge up. In terms of getting there, let's go on the presumption that you're flying in and out of the Netherlands. Again, if you're in Europe, you could take a train or a bus over to the Netherlands, but let's assume that you're here and you need to get over there. You would probably be flying, of course, and there's a couple of options that are popular for Canadians. Air Canada has services from Toronto and Montreal into Amsterdam. They are Star Alliance. They have connections from Canadian cities coast to coast down to these gateways and then your overnight flight to the Netherlands. And then another option is KLM, and that's a wonderful airline. It is the national Dutch airline, and they fly to many Canadian cities. And then they have WestJet partnerships. So you can get from your smaller cities, your places that are not served directly, to a hub city with WestJet. And so some of the Canadian cities that KLM is flying into, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, and Montreal. Speaking of Montreal and Toronto, Air Transat has a seasonal service from those cities. So that could be another way you could tune in. And the main airport for, especially when we look at transatlantic, when we're looking at international arrivals, that's going to be the Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. And just a little interesting bit of trivia for you. Did you know that KLM is one of the world's longest standing airlines and that they've been flying since May of 1920? Their first flight was from the Netherlands over to the United Kingdom. I'm going to presume from Amsterdam to London. And then if you're getting around, obviously train, just like a lot of other parts of Europe, that's a great way to go. Train is an excellent resource. Rail infrastructure all across the country into neighboring countries. Train stations are efficient, they're clean, there's English speaking services, there's self-service tellers that can go into English, very much kept on time for the schedule. So traveling around the Netherlands on train is a pleasure and a breeze. And the Amsterdam Centraal with two A's. Amsterdam Centraal is the main train station, and it's squarely located in the heart of Amsterdam, so it's really easy to reach from anywhere you might be going in the city. And it also has a service out to the airport as well. So if you land, you can just take one of the many trains that go all day long from the airport to Centraal. So that's really easy to do. And then other forms of transportation, well, you could obviously do a bicycle. There's plenty of them in the Netherlands. Cars, you can drive around. You got to think about a city like Amsterdam and all of its canals. That might not be a great spot to drive. But when we start to look at rural Netherlands, the rural Dutch countryside, you might want a car for that. Of course, canal cruises. You might be on a canal cruise in Amsterdam. So there's lots of other types of transportation that you can find in this destination. I wanted to talk about rail passes because I wanted to talk again about this concept of the Benelux countries. And so there is not a single rail pass for the Netherlands, but rather you would get the Benelux pass. And that allows for travel on the rail network of the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. And you can choose a 3, 4, 5, 6, or 8 day flexible pass within 1 month. And so that basically means from the date it's activated, when you get over there, you have a month to use up at either 3, 4, 5 days, however many you've bought for. You can purchase your pass for either second or first class. And an example of what the prices would be at the moment, if you got a 3 day second class pass, it's 206 bucks Canadian. And if you want to go up to first class, it would be $261 Canadian. And if you are a senior, and that's measured from 60 and above, you would be able to get that for 184 Canadian for the second class pass and 234 Canadian for the first class pass. So some great deals if you're a senior. You can book those rail passes with me. I book rail passes for Europe and can provide you service with that. Most of the passes nowadays are just sent electronically. Let's look at some climate and dates. So the Netherlands has a mild winter. They can get some cold weather. You can get some cold wind coming off the North Sea, that's for sure. But generally, it's milder than some of the other parts of Europe. Summer can be hot. We've seen European heat waves happening the last few years. So fall and spring can be some great times of year to visit. There can be precipitation throughout the year, so you should always be prepared for that. And then a few big days. There's King's Day. That you might have thought of Queen's Day, but of course it's now King's Day in the Netherlands. That's on April 24th. So there's a lot of merriment and parties and things going on there. Shortly thereafter, Liberation Day happens on May 5th. And that has connections to World War II. And Sinterklaas, December 5th, which gets us into the holiday vibes, getting us ready for the Yuletide. So let's start our tour of the Netherlands. Let's start with Amsterdam. Again, no doubt your trip to the Netherlands will entail Amsterdam because it is the main city here, and it's very impressive. It has more than 1,500 bridges that cross the canals, and some people that nickname it the Venice of the North. Its prominence as a global city goes back quite a while. Holland, or sorry, the Netherlands, the Dutch Empire around the world brought a lot of wealth and prosperity and trading into this city, and that was reflected. We see that in the cultural installations that are found throughout the Netherlands. And there's 5 major concentric canals. I'm not going to try to pronounce some of these Dutch words. I'll pronounce a few other Dutch words for you tonight, but not these ones. But I'm going to show you this map. So if you look at the purple part, that's the inner ring. And then just thinking kind of like tree rings, there's another ring that goes around the green, yellow, blue part with Jordan. We'll see some pictures of that in a moment. And then we have outer parts of Amsterdam as well. For most people, the tourism experience is going to be really focused on the heart of the city. That's where most things are, all within walking distance. Great, easy, pleasurable city for getting around. The airport's also quite close too. You may have seen that, so it's really easy to get in and out from the airport to downtown to the Centraal station. All right, so some things you might want to check out in Amsterdam. You might want to go to the Van Gogh Museum. Here's a picture of one of Van Gogh's most famous tableaus. The Rijksmuseum is another interesting museum and has a bunch of Dutch art. And so if you're interested in those aspects of Dutch culture, if you love your art history, you're definitely going to want to make some time here. Again, canal cruises are very popular and it's easy to see why. It's a fun way to sail underneath the canals, get that perspective of the city. Of course, you can just sit back and some of them are narrated and they're going to tell you sites. Often you can just get the tickets for these in destination. This is Dam Square. So this is a main area in Amsterdam. Often if you're walking around, if you're passing around from one part of town to the other, you will go through this part of the city. You can see as well, there's a tramway service that runs through the city of Amsterdam. I was mentioning the Jordan district earlier. So one thing that makes Jordan so beautiful, and you can just get lost here, is the beautiful green canals. There's a lot of great greenery in the Jordan area. Gets you a little bit away from where the main thicker thoroughfare of tourism is in Amsterdam and brings you into something a little bit more authentic. Vondelpark is another awesome spot to check out. This is a people's park. It's like the central park of Amsterdam. It provides lungs to the city, but it also gives a great spot for people to gather. Maybe you might want to grab some snacks and sit back and relax and just watch life go by. Hey, if you're looking to relax, there's another possibility in Amsterdam, and I'm talking about the famous coffee shops, the cannabis culture that can be found throughout Amsterdam. And for some people, this is an attraction to the destination. Another tawdry thing that you can go and see in Amsterdam is the red light district, of course. And you might walk through it just because it's there and you just might be passing by. You'll know when you got there because of all of the red lights. And of course, you can see some shows in the windows and you have an adult moment in Amsterdam. Or just simply walk through and just take appreciation for the freedom and the openness that you can find in this fabulous city. Another destination we're looking at the Anne Frank House from the entryway into the Anne Frank House. So if you want to check out that somber moment of history, you can check that out in your stay in Amsterdam. Another cool thing is the Bloemenmarkt or the flower market, and you can check this out. It's on the water. You can see they've got the different little greenhouses there. They got some tulips in there. You can buy some tulips. You can ride your bicycle. You can park there. So really cool moment, great vibe there. Makenbrug, one of the littlest bridges that you can find in all of Amsterdam. Looks so cute, so Instagrammable, lit up there. So you can definitely take some selfies there. Now, a lot of people go to Amsterdam and they don't get outside. So one thing I want to do today is I want to take you outside. And I mean outside of the city, of course. Of course, they're outside in Amsterdam, they're walking around. But I mean really outside. I want to get outside of the city now. So let's start with North Holland. As we work our way out, this would probably be the first logistical spot you would head. And there's a few points of interest. Haarlem, which you might think, oh, that sounds like Harlem. Well, of course, that's Holland's or the Netherlands connection to New York City. Well, anyway, Haarlem, it's a lovely historical city. It's located only 20 kilometers from Amsterdam, really easy to reach it. You could do that as a day trip, or you could head over to Haarlem and just chill out for a couple days. Has some great connections as well if you're into the history of Dutch painters and art. Enkhuizen, a more prominent harbor town. This has history going back to the age of sail and the wealth and the rise of this nation. One of my favorite areas, Zaanstad. We'll see some pictures. Great spot for some windmill selfies. And I had some delicious Dutch apple pie here. And Alkmaar is another cool spot to check out, especially if you're a cheese lover like me. It has a historic town center and they have a cheese market, and we'll see some pictures. That typically happens on Friday during warmer weather months. And I've heard in the summer they've even added a Thursday evening cheese market. So but of course, verify that when you're there locally. All right, there's some pictures of what Haarlem looks like, so we can see the connection to boating and, of course, windmills. You're going to see a lot of windmills tonight. It's going to be a windy presentation, folks. Here's the port town of Enkhuizen. So again, you could do that as a day trip from Amsterdam. Zaanstad, these are some pictures I took when I was there on my last trip to the Netherlands. And there's working windmills here. It's a working museum. So one of them just had stone, wheat being ground. So I get to see that happening in the power of the windmill. You can go in there and see the inner workings and go up, and they're quite tiny, slender little ladders. And so if you're a big guy like me, that can be a little bit of a tight moment, but you can squeeze on up there and get a great view like the one I'm showing you now. There I am having the time of my life with some great eyewear. And here's a view when you're heading over to Zanshan. If you see there's 5 windmills here, great for your selfies. And then when you get up closer, there's a traditional village you can see with the dark green wood shingled homes here and the willow tree. And I was mentioning that cheese market in Alkmaar, so they haul it around using these carriers, and that's what you would see if you were there to go to the traditional cheese market. And this picture is about as Dutch as you can get. Look at those clogs. She's wearing the colors of the flag. We've got some Gouda cheese. All right, let's move down to South Holland. So a few things here would be the city of Delft. You might know of that from the blue and white ceramics, and we'll take a look at that. The Keukenhof Gardens, which is a famous garden that attracts almost 1 million visitors a year, and it's perfect for spring. If you're heading over there soon, this must be on your list. Kinderdijk has an excellent windmill spotting area as well. So if you want that traditional Dutch landscape. And another one is Schiedam, which has the world's tallest windmill. And it's also known for Genever, if you're into gin. Hey, this is Delft. It looks like a Dutch city. We've got the greenery, we've got the canals, but this is what you're really going there for. It's the Delft glass with that white and blue and the beautiful depictions. I love this. I could look at this all day long. Just beautiful. And as mentioned, Keukenhof Gardens. So again, almost 1 million people visit these gardens. And tulips, tulips, tulips. Again, we're getting into spring. That's exactly why we're doing this presentation at this time of the year. But you can also see other types of flowers in the garden that you can appreciate. And I was talking about Kinderdijk with the windmills. So here they are doing their thing. Here it is with a bit of a downcast day with the weather, but I love that little slender white bridge. It's so Dutch. And this is what it would look like in the winter as well. If you were heading over there in the winter, here people are having a fun time walking on the frozen canals. And here's that world's tallest windmill. If you're wondering how it got that claim, look how it's hoisted up there a little bit. All right, so if we go down to South Netherlands, a few things that you can see here towards the Belgium and Luxembourg borders here. I tried to pronounce this one today. Schutzagenbosch, anyhow, also known as Den Bosch, that might be easier. Really lovely medieval town, and it's known for these chocolate balls, which we'll take a look at pictures of that. Maastricht is claimed to be the oldest city in the Netherlands. Breda is a beautiful city that also goes back to the 14th century, so you can go back quite a ways there. And then Tilburg is a student city, but there's also some historic and industrial importance there. So just taking a look, these are the chocolate balls. These are tennis ball sized and filled with cream, so it's just great for an afternoon coffee moment when you're traveling through Southern Holland. And then Southern Netherlands, I should correct myself. Eastern Netherlands, we're very much in a rural area now. There are a few historical cities, there's some charming villages, really scenic landscape. This is an area that attracts quite a bit of domestic tourism, so Dutch people traveling within their own country, but is still relatively unknown to the foreign traveler. And you could check out, again, more traditional Dutch landscape here, farm landscape, woodland landscapes. This is a national park, the largest in the country. And then if you go up to northern Netherlands, again, more obscure amongst foreigners. It's a place that gets some domestic tourism, but not a lot of international folks heading up there. I'm going to show you some tours in just a moment, though, that do get to these places. But this has a really, cool vibe. Again, we're getting up close to the North Sea. You have the Frisian Islands, so you get the Frisian culture. There's a Frisian language there. The city of Groningen, Halligen, which is a beautiful port city. So again, we're getting right onto the ocean here. Relaxed, outside of Amsterdam, getting away from the hustle and bustle and into the real Dutch landscape, the real Netherlands. Bortang, it's this fortified city. You can see it here from drone. And there's an entryway into the fortified city. And this is the commode, not the one you're going to use, but an example of a historical commode. You can see it's built out up over the water there, so you know how that plumbing system works. Hey, just before I show you some tours and we wind down, I want to talk about some traditional foods of the Netherlands that you might want to enjoy. I would say that the cuisine is characterized by just hearty and comforting dishes, fresh ingredients, simple preparation methods. Here are French fries smothered in mayonnaise. They have other sauces available. You can get this at a Friethuis, and there's many of them in Amsterdam and other places. This is great, especially if you're walking around late at night, maybe after you've been to one of the coffee shops. Another staple, if we think about the Dutch food landscape, is herring. They love it. They love to eat it. and they love to eat it with diced up onions and in different ways. They just love to slide that down their throats. Another snack that you might get, especially if you're having some drinks in a bar, bitterballen or meatballs that are done in the Dutch way. And here they are served with a mustard. If you want something on the sweeter side, here's a stroopwafel. These are waffles that are extremely thin and they're sandwiched together with the most delicious caramel. And here is at Zahnschanz. One of the things that you can do is there's some shopping there and there's some food outlets that you can check out. And here they have the honey waffles, which are to me are very similar to stroopwafels. I had Dutch apple pie there, apple tart. Oh my goodness, it was so good, so deep, so like just so many apples, so much cinnamon, so much spice, just amazing. You know, Netherlands had a lot of spice countries during its colonial era. Now we know why. They were making some delicious apple pie. Yum, yum, yum. Hey, I love cheese. Everybody who knows me knows I love cheese. Gouda is a Dutch cheese. Edam is a Dutch cheese. Maasdam is like a Dutch Swiss cheese. It has the famous holes in it. Here it is sliced thin. You might find that on a sandwich or in a melt. And Beemster is my favorite Dutch cheese. It has a rind around it. It has a more buttery caramel, fuller flavor. And to me, it's one of the most fullest flavors that you can get in Dutch cheeses. All right, I just will wind down now tonight and show you a few tours. We've got a 7-day best of. This is a bus tour situation, so you're looking at 40 to 45 guests. They got 6 nights accommodation, 6 breakfasts, 3 dinners, so you're really well taken care of. This is with Trafalgar. Does a full loop around and it starts and ends in Amsterdam. So in total, you would get 3 nights in Amsterdam. That's 2 at the front, 1 at the back. You're also going to get a night in Rotterdam, a night in Hostabek, and you got a night in Groningen here. And all the attractions are here. This is a great, real popular tour with Canadian travelers, Canadians wanting to go to the Netherlands. They're either going over and doing this 1 week tour if you're looking for something quick to do. This is a great one. They've got 2 departures a month normally. It's currently on sale as well. So just reach out if you need any of the details or if you'd like to know the steps to book. But yeah, this could be you over there. You could be sitting on the clog or taking a selfie with the windmill, all sorts of things that you can do. And I love the guy over there with all the orange. Of course, orange is a Dutch color. The next one is called the Best of the Netherlands, and this one is 1629. It starts off at 1629. The prices do vary depending on departure. Has a very similar feel to it. I would say that this one is a cost, if you're looking for a good value on your touring, this would be a good one. The hotels are great, not as centrally located, but still hand selected. And yeah, so you can go around and see Holland that way. Another way you can do it, this one is really cool, especially if you're into river cruising or if you're keen on it and maybe haven't done it, because it's only a 5-day river cruise. So it starts off at 1524 US. This river cruise sells in US. They do 6 departures a year. So it just does a really compact river cruise from Amsterdam to the areas that we could call Holland. And so you would get to go to Delft and see where the Delft blue and white glass is made, and Gouda and Rotterdam. And so lots of great stuff in here. And of course, again, it starts and ends in Amsterdam. If you would rather pedal, you could look at cycling the highlights of Holland. This one starts off at 28.60 and it's a 1 week holiday. It's more or less available any day. It is a self-guided holiday, so it's set up for you. It could be you and someone, it could be you and a couple couples, or what if you're a group? What if you're a spin class maybe and you want to go and cycle for reals? This could be a fun private departure that we could do for your group. So again, with the more or less daily available, if you wanted to structure it around any special moments, we could certainly do that. And you can cycle around. Your accommodations are booked, your bikes are there, you're doing your own adventure, your bags are being transferred for you behind the scenes. If you need assistance, if you have any problems, you can get help there. That assistance is there just on the back burner. But more or less, you get to do your own thing and have your own ride. Hey, if you want to check out some other presentations that I've done, if you've liked tonight's presentation, I've got a library of recorded travel talks that can be found on my website. Just head on over to destinationwhatever.com and go up to the travel info section. Got a couple talks coming up. I don't have any talks coming up in the month of April. I'll be taking April off, but I'm back in May. I've got two presentations, European river cruising. So we'll actually be going back over to the Netherlands, but looking at other countries, but also looking at the product rather than the destination. So again, if you have further questions on river cruising, or you want to know the difference between the different brands or why the prices are what they are, which ones are a bit better for a solo traveler, because some of them do have solo cabins designed for you. I'm going to break that information down and just try to kind of give you European river cruising 101. So that's happening on May 13th. And then on May 27th, I've got a really cool, no pun intended, presentation coming up for you on Antarctica. We'll be joined by someone from G Adventures, Hillary Arsenault, who's been there. She's going to talk to us about her personal experience. What's it like to sail over there? What's it like to go across the Drake Passage? What do you do in Antarctica? What do they feed you in Antarctica? All your questions that you would want to think about if you were planning a trip, or if you're just curious about Antarctica. Come on down, literally, to the bottom of the world with us on May 27th. And then on June 3rd, it's summer. We're going to get heated up with a trip to Greece. Everyone loves it, from the olive oil to the plate smashing to the toga dresses to the movie Mamma Mia. And I'm going to be giving you Greece ooh-ah sensation on June 3rd. And so we'll talk about Athens, we'll talk about the islands, we'll talk about what you can do on the mainland. History lovers, sunset lovers, you're going to find it all in Greece. So join me for that one on June 3rd. And again, if you're not able to make it on these dates afterwards, I will put them on my website. Again, just head over to the travel info section for the recorded library, but you can find it all on my website. If I've got any deals I need to let you know about, if you want to book a Zoom, if you want to get in touch with me, if you want to find more about my background or read about the countries that I've been to almost 40 countries. You can check out that list on my website. Think about me, please. I am destination whatever, and I love cruising, be it river, ocean, expedition, all types of cruising. I love being on the water. I love to put people on the water. So if it involves water, you can give me a call for that. Small group tours, larger group tours in the case of some of the ones we looked at tonight for the Netherlands. Personalized itineraries, adventure travel, travel info. I'm just the #1 travel agent. You can connect with me on my website and find out more about why that is. Okay, folks, that's just about it for tonight for me. I'm Destination Whatever, and it's been a pleasure to have you tonight for a trip over to the Netherlands. I hope I've given you some travel information and some travel encouragement, maybe getting you thinking about this destination. For anything that you can do, reach out on my website. And as we say in Dutch, thank you very much. Dankjewel. Good night.